All right, I will get to you, Deborah. Please bear with me.
This is Kelechi.
I just want to.
Hold on, Kelechi.
I want to organize. I want to organize our thoughts, Deborah.
1, 2, 3, 4. If you heard about at least 10 female menstruation conferences in 2017, can you raise your hand?
True.
People are engaging women.
That's true.
But they are still facing the roadblock.
That's
true. So my point is not to tell to stop it from telling the woman she can be all that she can become. No. The point is we need to solve the bottleneck. While you are raising strong women, you still need to kill the patriarchal mentality that these men have and reduce it to a balanced sense. That's all I'm saying. What you're doing is fantastic. I think 5 branches in Africa. Her business is a model in Stanford, in Harvard. And she's 40 yet? She's just 40. So it is what you have and what you do with it. You know, it's not about music. It's not today people have been singing. It's not people have been doing tech. Before Steve Jobs started trying to create a computer, other people have created computers. We heard about Steve Jobs because of the work he put in it. You know, so let's not for a minute, you know, trivialize the things, bead making. I mean, the woman that makes moi moi bokwe, who cooked moi moi for Michelle Obama, that was just moi moi, which is cooking, which is a predominantly women's skills in Africa. So it is what you do with what is in your hands, be it tech, be it business, be it anything.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Debola. And I would like to, before I do a recap, a final note from you. You know, certainly in their speeches, they've actually given us calls to action. Party believes that more mentorship, deliberate mentorship actions should be taken. Debola believes there's a bottleneck. So even if you climb up the ladder, there's just a narrow hole. And he believes advocacy, you know, reworking the paradigm of a patriarchal society will go a long way to helping what we're talking about. And then, so what would it be for you?
What would it be for me? I would like us to change our mindset of how we view technology, yeah? So we keep saying getting women into technology. But really, technology is an enabler. It's a process. It's a system. It's not a thing on its own. So first of all, to view things, so start changing how we see technology as something that helps you achieve a goal. So for example, you have an idea or you have something you want to do as a woman or as a man to go into. So what you think of is how can technology help me achieve this end goal and increase my output, help me reach my audience, help me interact with someone who is doing it according to best practices. So because of that, you begin to see it as a woman as something you need to learn. You begin to see technology as something you need to engage in, something you need to improve in. So what I would want to encourage everyone here is see technology as a friend. See technology as something you need to advance yourself. And because of that, you begin to think of it as not a male-dominated area, but something you need to learn to improve yourself, to become competitive, and to engage yourself in better things. That's what I would have to say to everyone.
Thank you very much, Nkechi. Please, a round of applause for the panelists. Would like to move on to questions and answers. And I don't know if there are people in the hall that like to ask questions. A couple of hands.
Hello?
Can anyone help us get the mics to them?
Good morning. I want to say a big thank you to everyone. My name is Rume. I'm from Wari in Delta State. And first of all, I have listened to each and every of the panelists, but there are some very basic things I wanted to share. Like, before I'm asking my questions. So the question is, you talk about mentorship, direct mentorship, and all that. I want to bring an example. Now, we are all aware of these beautiful 3 Nigerian girls who represented us at the Winter Olympics. That, for me, we understand. So now the first thing is, how many women used their social media handle to reap and appreciate, commend that effort? Now, that is very key to wanting to be like them. Now, taking this as community schools, like Mr. Debola has said, how else what are the plans are you going to put in place to take those girls to secondary school so that other girls can meet them and decide to want to be like them? If you are not doing these things, how do you now begin to correct the mindset of these persons? Because Mima, when the idea that our sisters, all they just need to do is kitchen and just cook. So what Mr. Adebola is saying is they need to change the mindset. But in as much as we are changing our children's mindset, what actions are you taking so that as you are mentoring them, you are engaging the teachers in the school to still erase that mindset from their vocabulary so that they don't pass it to the children and keep stagnating these children? Thank you very much.
All right. I was wondering, sorry, we didn't get your name. Was there a question? I think it was more of a contribution.
There was a question. My name is Rume from Mori, yeah.
Okay,
The question I was asking, I asked two questions. I said, what plans, are there plans that you have in place that when, for example, these three girls that come, when they come back, that you're going to take to these schools to start, so that they can become examples and people now want to be like them? I did plans for such, where women begin to appreciate women that are around, role models that are around, speak to them so that young girls can want to be like them. So when they come out and step out, then that's a process. These are the questions I'm trying.
Thank you very much. Nkechi will take it from there.
So, not using that example or taking from your example, as individuals, just to summarize what you're saying, what are we doing to take mentors out there to come down to the school or to the schools, the communities to mentor the girls, right? So we know that there are more people in the area than in the urban areas in Nigeria. And unfortunately, there are less mentors, female mentors out there than male mentors, So what are we doing? I'll start at what I'm doing as an individual, and then what we plan to do as the Yali Network. So as an individual, for example, I started my life in Benin City, and Benin City is, when I mean my life, my career life, and Benin City is not to compare to Lagos, right? We have over 700,000 people in Benin, and let's assume there are more females than men. As an individual, what have I been doing? In my own little space, every time I am asked to speak concerning anything, I attend it. You get. And going to schools, I founded an NGO called Sabi Up, and what we are doing is basically mentoring entrepreneurs and getting them to see how they can use technology. So Edo State, for example, is known to have agriculture as the major thing, but more women in agriculture than men, and more women in the village in agriculture than men. That's what data says in the States. So what do? When I go out, reach out and as much as possible, try to see as an individual to share the knowledge that I have, share what are the best practices out there that people are doing and bring it. So that goes to each and every one of us. If you see a woman doing something, it is known that we ladies, we like to beef ourselves. When you see someone being successful, you first of all get angry. Well done. It's a known fact. So that alone, we too as individual ladies have to change that. Woman doing something out there, encourage them, retweet it, talk about them. Let's be our own champions, It's very important. So that's on one part. So as an individual too, recently, okay, let me not go too much into that. As Yali Network, we just started the Yali Women in ICT page. Please encourage every one of us to join, and also encourage all the women here to reshare it. The link is on the screen, bit.ly /Yali Women in ICT. What we are doing here is to showcase women who are doing awesome things. Let us tell our own story. Let us change the narrative out there. So please join this platform, and as many platforms as you see out there of women who are doing things, join them and let us advocate for our own selves, because the men, they don't seem to be willing to do that, right, Adebola?
Can we have it on the screen, please? I don't think we have it on the screen.
Yes,
please
it's actually there, bit.ly /Yali Women in ICT, and also everyone who have registered for this will send this link down to each and every one of us.
And so as the Yali Network, that is what we're doing in line with what we're saying today, to inspire, to educate, to mentor, and then to bring more women to the
take the education down to them.
Fantastic. Patricia, would you want to add anything? All right. I think there was an extra hand. Did I see another hand? Okay. Let's take a woman, right?
Yes, it's about time. My name is Margaret Okojoko. My question, I think every one of you on the panel can answer it. First of all, fantastic discussion. Thank you, Debola. You said a lot of wonderful things this morning. For Nkechi Code for Africa, I want to know what exactly you are doing in your own space to put women in the limelight and encourage young girls to want to code. I want you to just give us that brief because it's a bit still very strange to a lot of people. So I want you to just talk more about that briefly, and then Mr. Debola, I liked what you said about the cultural thing, cultural effect on, the impact we're having today is what we are being told. As a man, speaking for the male folks, this thing is very deep. It has eaten very deep into the fabric of our system. How can you help to champion that?
Doer, you give the opportunity to open up his mind and think, okay, I can do this by myself. I don't have to be a user anymore. This phone I'm using, I can build it by myself. And
Fantastic.
then when you finish empowering them.
Fantastic. Okay, if all right, I will get to you, Debola. Please bear with me.
This is Kelechi.
I just want to
hold on, Kelechi.
I
Let me
want
quickly
to
answer
organize.
Patty.
I want to
Let me
organize
quickly
our thoughts,
answer
Debola.
Patty.
Please spare me. Please spare me.
Before
I
we
want to
lose their
organize our
thoughts.
thoughts. If I'm to go by what Patty has said, you know, your intentional measure is that we should mentor more women in technology. Okay? And Debola, I'd like to hear what your measure is, what the call to action is as we round this off.
So, you know, I'm laughing at Patty. Because, can any of you raise your hand? How many male mentorship conference you've heard about? If you've heard about any male mentorship conference in 2017, can you raise your hand? If you've heard about any, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you heard about at least 10 female mentorship conferences in 2017, can you raise your hand?
True.
People are engaging women.
That's true.
But they are still facing the roadblock.
That's
so
true.
my point is not to tell to stop it from telling the woman she can be all that she can become. No. My point is we need to solve the bottleneck. While you are raising strong women, you still need to kill the patriarchal mentality that these men have and reduce it to a balanced sense. That's all I'm saying.
Fantastic.
So what you're doing is fantastic, but let's just balance it because we'll keep conflicting. And I love the example she gave of Barbies and Legos. You know, we need to be able to give our children to pick. But then all the mothers here now, if your boys start playing with Barbie now, you will all cry. You will all take him to church. So... Now, the final thing I'm going to say is that let us not, for any minute, reduce the things that women do to express themselves, like beauty and makeup. I always believe that it's what you do with what you have. It's not what you have. Tara Felado Otoye, 19-year-old makeup girl on campus in Lasso. Today, 27 branches in Nigeria. I think 5 branches in Africa. Her business is a model in Stanford, in Harvard. And she's 40 yet? She's just 40. So it is what you have and what you do with it. You know, it's not about makeup. It's not about music. It's not today people have been singing. It's not people have been doing tech. Before Steve Jobs started trying to create a computer, other people have created computers. We heard about Steve Jobs because of the work he put in it. You know, so let's not for a minute, you know, trivialize the things, bead making. I mean, the woman that makes moi moi bokwe, who cooked moi moi for Michelle Obama, that was just moi moi, which is cooking, which is a predominantly women's skills in Africa. So it is what you do with what is in your hands, be it tech, be it business, be it anything.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Debola. And I would like to, before I do a recap, a final note from you. You know, certainly in their speeches, they've actually given us calls to action. Patty believes that more mentorship, deliberate mentorship actions should be taken. Debola believes there's a bottleneck. So even if you climb up the ladder, there's just a narrow hole for you to walk through. And he believes advocacy, you know, reworking the paradigm, the cultural paradigm of a patriarchal society will go a long way to helping what we're talking about. And then, so what would it be for you?
What would it be for me? I would like us to change our mindset of how we view technology, So we keep saying getting women into technology. But really, technology is an enabler. It's a process. It's a system. It's not a thing on its own. So first of all, I would like us to view things, so start changing how we see technology as something that helps you achieve a goal. So for example, you have an idea or you have something you want to do as a woman or as a man to go into agriculture. So what you think of is how can technology help me achieve this end goal and increase my output, help me reach my audience, help me be competitive or help me interact with someone who is doing it according to best practices. So because of that, you begin to see it as a woman as something you need to learn. You begin to see technology as something you need to